Hi everyone, it is Kat and Alexandra and we are back for our next Facebook Live class. If you've joined us before, please welcome back. If you're new, welcome. So as you know, we are doing the Sizzix BIGkick today. So we are talking all vintage stuff and all the really cool jewelry, components, mixed media, everything that you can make with this machine. So we are excited to kind of dive right in, but if you've joined us before, you know that we do a giveaway. So I want to dive in and show you the giveaway. Now to win the giveaway, all you have to do is tune in live with us right now and leave a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from, if you have a question, or if you want to let us know your favorite vintage product or blank or color of patina, that's fun too. So don't worry about commenting, we're not judging your comments. So here is our giveaway, and what you're gonna receive is the Vintage Relief Block, and we're gonna go over exactly all the fun ways that you can use that. You're gonna get a Technique jewelry book from Vintage, and then we have a few pieces of chain here. We have a nice finished bracelet, which is a perfect idea for doing a charm chain, and you can do really fun charms with the BIGkick. We're gonna give you a few blanks to play with, some earring hooks, and these are the Vintage Vogue blanks, and these are that really pretty raw brass. And we're also gonna be giving you some patina to play with as well. So this is a $50 giveaway, and it will go to a random winner at the end of the show. And we are just so excited to dive right in. So let's get to it. All right. So if you've kind of been following our blog, you notice that we put up some projects and some ideas, and they're of course on Beadaholique.com for you to see. But what we're going to be doing in this class is we're actually going to be recreating some of the projects. So I want to show you the project that I'm going to be recreating here, and this is called, if you're looking on Beadaholique.com, this is called the Headliner Wrap Bracelet. So I used a little bit of leather, kind of wove it through some chain, created some fun and funky gemstones, and then I have a little guitar pick blank here, and then I wanted to put my name on it and my little stamp on it, so I put my KAT on there. So that is what I'm going to be showing you right off the bat here. We're just going to dive in and I'm going to recreate this piece. I'm going to try to use some different colors of the patina, but as you can see, I used a really beautiful blue and verdigris there. So I have my other piece ready to go, and I've made a black version with some fun rainbow hematite. I just wanted to kind of make a little more of a funky rock and roll style. So let's go ahead and show you how to use the Sizzix BIGkick, and I'm going to use my guitar blank. So when you have your Sizzix here, I'm going to be using one of the Emboss dies. Now these look like little clamshells, and what you can kind of see here is that on one side it's raised and on the other side it is embedded. So when you close your blank in there, it's going to kind of smush and you're going to create that beautiful embossing on it. So let me just go ahead and dive in and show you exactly how to use it. Okay, so when you're using the Sizzix, I'm going to kind of stand up here because you want to get a little bit of leverage on here. Now the beautiful thing about this machine is, as you notice, on our shim here, it keeps the instructions there, so in case you ever forget, you can just always refer back to this, and it's a great way to just kind of remember and be really clear about how you're going to use your Sizzix. So you kind of want to get it a little bit into your machine there, and then you'll notice on the back of the die it does say place this side down. So that is exactly what we're going to do, but you want to make sure that this seam is facing the Sizzix, so it's going right directly into the Sizzix that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this side down and face it this way so that I'm going to close it just like so. Now you want to place one of your plastic pieces here, and these are going to help feed it through the machine. So now you can just place your die on top of that, and now take your blank, and you can kind of move it around and see what kind of style you want. And I think I'm going to go kind of right in the center of this beautiful, it's called an Indian archway. So I like that one. Okay, so now I'm just going to close up my Sizzix, and you want to make sure that the back is parallel to your machine because you want it to feed through nice and easily. So I'm taking my second plastic piece, placing it on top, and just kind of feeding it through there with my hands, making sure that everything is nice and even. And now just gently kind of feeding it through with my hand until I feel a little resistance. You don't want to push it too far. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to crank your Sizzix, and I like to keep my hand on top, and you'll hear it kind of snap. There we go, and just wheel it out. So it takes a little bit of strength, but certainly not a lot. So now I'm just gonna take off my first piece of plastic, and let's check out how it turned out. I'm just gonna open that up, and I have that beautiful stamping right on my guitar pick. And you just kind of take it out, and I just wanna kind of show you. This is the raw form. Very cool, huh? All right, so now I am going to remove my die, and let's come right back over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and get that set up because Alexandra's gonna start one of her projects. But before we move on to what Alexandra's gonna show you, I do wanna use the Vintaj relief block a little bit, and I'm gonna show you what happens with one of the dies here. And this is done for this particular one before the patina. You can do it after the patina, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like before. So I'm gonna use the gray edge here, and I'm just gonna kind of brush it across the top. And you can see that that brass is coming through, and you get that really nice relief effect. So let me kind of show you the other side. You'll get to see a little bit more of how that affects it. So that is the darker side, the unrelief block side, and this is the relief block. Now I'm gonna do it to both sides, but I'm gonna toss it over to Alexandra here, and she is gonna run hers through, and you'll get to see what she is starting to work on. Alexandra?
All right. So for my project, I'm gonna recreate these Tropic Fern earrings in a different color variation. I used a really neat jade and coral for this one, but for a variety, I'm gonna do some of this yellow ochre and then a gradation of purples. And I'm gonna use the Dragonfly Pond embossing folder for this one, the die cut, not cut. All right, so just like Kat did, I'm gonna load my die here with my natural brass stamping blank, and I'm gonna set it onto one of the sides where I want my design sort of to look petally. So I got that one on there. Make sure it's all in. Fold that down. Set the other one on top, and I've got the binder side toward the insert. Press it through until I get that resistance. I'm going to stand up too for leverage. Go ahead and crank it through. I heard that pop, so I'm going to push it out and see what we got. Perfect. All right. So there's one side and the other. And let me do one more. I'm going to make my matching earring, bring everything back to the opposite side here. I was really excited to learn how to use this machine. I think taking some of the mystery out of how these pieces are created does not take away the magic. It's just so neat to be able to create really professional looking, antiqued, beautiful, nature-inspired jewelry. It's kind of my favorite. All right. Great. So I'm going to bring my pieces back over to my workspace and start right in with the patina. And I'm going to start with my ferns and create a yellow on there. Some of my patina. I like to get a nice, thick, rich base on.
And patina is really a great product that you can use because you can really build the color. Mm-hmm. So if you just add it slowly, you can get, as bright as you want and brush some off. So I just love how it also, because you're using it on a piece of brass that, has a dark backing, but you're really seeing that yellow pop, and that's just really pretty. Yeah. And I love what you said about the nature-inspired jewelry. That definitely speaks to Vintaj's brand. They have some just beautiful pieces.
All right, so got that on. Gonna let those get a little bit tacky and rinse my brush and do the purple. Right, I've got 3 different colors here I'm gonna play with. I've got chalcedony. Oh, thanks. Wipe this off, get the extra yellow and do a little bit more rinse. And then I have Opaque. And we're just working on wax paper. Paper towel or a plastic baggie works too. But this is permanent paint, so I've learned the hard way that if it gets on the table, it kind of stays there.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, it dries very quickly.
I'm also going to grab my toothpick to kind of hold my piece in place while I'm getting the paint on. And I'm going to start at the top where the hole of the earring is and just get some of the lighter color and have it get darker as I go down. Again, I like to get kind of a thick coat on there. A little bit of a rinse and a dab, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And my next darker will be...
And you can even mix a lot of the colors before you even put them on. So if you're looking for a color that Vintaj doesn't have, but we certainly do have, they come in so many colors. But if you want to kind of lighten something up, you can add white to a color, and the same if you want to darken it, you can add black or even a nice silver to it to give it a little bit of a shimmer. So there's a lot you can do with paint mixing on the Vintaj Patina. And we do actually have a whole video showing you exactly how to do that and how easy it is. All right, so I'm gonna let Alexandra finish that up, and I'm just gonna kind of talk here. So let me just go through and explain the next step of our process here. Oh, we have a question.
Question from Sherry on whether leather will work.
Oh, hi Sherry. The question is whether or not leather will work through here. So what we've discovered thus far is that we have a product that we carry at Beadaholique called Create Recklessly, and that's a faux vegan leather. And because of the nature of that particular item, it does not work, but we are waiting on some leather because we want to find out if that works, if you can create that cool kind of embossed leather. I don't know if this is the right machine for that, but as soon as we get that in, that will definitely be a video that we're going to look into because I'm very curious myself. So, good question though. All right. So I'm going to do my letters here and run those through the Sizzix just to get that going. And I have 3 little stampings here. And this is really great because on this particular die, you will have all of your letters here, and they're nice and equally spaced enough that when you place your little blank on there, you will only get that letter. So these are the perfect size. So I'm going to just do my name again. So I'm going to do a K, an A, and a T. So let me just prep my Sizzix. And this is really easy. If you guys have a Sizzix machine and you've been working with this, let us know, and let us know how you like it. I think this is just a really cool machine. I'm finding more and more uses for it, not even just in jewelry, but in scrapbooking, and I've made a couple of little name plates with these because you can get all kinds of blanks and, you know, just really have a lot of fun with that. All right.
For the number of pieces you can make with this too, I mean, it literally is a machine. You can just keep going and going.
All right, let me show you. There's my K. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna take that out. And let's check back in with Alexandra. I'm gonna do my A and my T, and I will be right back.
So what I've done is used the paper towel to blot my stamping blanks over here, and I'm going to do that also with the fern pieces just to get the extra off. And that way when I use the relief block, it won't kind of gunk up the sanding side. It is pretty quick drying. What would you say, Kat, within about 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely.
So, where is that really? Ah, here it is.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to take the relief block, the side edge of it, and kind of get back some of the shine of the metal. You can see it brings out that embossed petal effect. Let me hold them up side by side so you can get an idea. Yep, and I think I'll do the same to the other. And if you find that you do more of the sanding than you had anticipated, you can always reapply the patina. It's pretty forgiving that way. So, happy with those. And now I'm going to take and work a little on the yellow and see what we get here. Just bring back some of that brass from underneath. I just really like the aging effect that it gives it. Kind of an heirloom quality.
Question for Sherry, if you can use like a nail file as a relief block.
Oh, hi. So Sherry is asking us if you can use a nail file as in terms of using it on the Vintage relief block. Here's what I'll say to that. I don't recommend it. One, nail files can have really different grits, and this is meant for this. The other thing too is that if you are going to use a nail file, please don't use it to file your nails, because you will get, as you can kind of see a little bit on Alexandra's hands there, you'll get a little bit of dirt that is from that. And don't forget, you're filing metal, so I wouldn't want you to put that near your actual nails. So I don't recommend it. Honestly, the Vintage relief block, it lasts a long time. It's not expensive. It's definitely worth the money if you're going to be exploring this kind of jewelry. So that's what I would recommend. You can, but make sure you get a really fine, almost like a buffer, instead of an actual like hard grit nail file. So.
So I'm ready to put my earrings together. I also wanted to point out this tool that can punch extra holes in your metal. If you wanted to create a connector and dangle some little gemstones or beads off the bottom, that's how you would do that. So here's my ear hook, and these are also made by Vintage, and I'm gonna do just a reorientation of the loop to get it facing frontwards with my flat plier. And open that up.
It's a really neat trick if you can't find the right earring hook, because so many of them are facing this sideways, so you can just kind of give it a nice little twist.
You know what's silly though? I just realized I don't need to do that for these earrings. That was for my other pair. Can I show you what I was thinking of? Actually, that was for my other Vintage earrings I made. So let me show you here. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of. These were facing in such a way that I needed to use a jump ring and then hang the multiple pieces. Sorry about that. So anyway.
Well, it's still a good technique to show.
Right.
Oh, we have a question.
Question from Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Can you or should you patina the back side of your pieces?
I'm actually going to show you on my piece that you can do both sides. One of the things is you can do patina on both sides. You're going to want a little bit more drying time in between, and you can also glaze both sides, and we're going to get into talking about that in just a few minutes. So, but yes, as I get into mine over here, I'm going to show you how to do both sides of the patina, or both sides of your blank in patina.
Yes, and you just said glaze, didn't you?
I did.
All right, so let's pull that forward, because this is the clear glaze that protects both the paint and the metal, and it also creates kind of a nice finished sheen on that piece. So that's what I did with those, and I will do that with these as well.
Yeah, that'll really, it'll not only protect the metal from aging further, because again, we are working with just a lot of natural brass and raw brass pieces, so they will sort of naturally, what is called patinaing over time. So you can seal it with that metal sealer, and it's a nice, like you said, just a really nice glaze to kind of finish it. So very nice. All right, so let me show you over here. I'm going to do my patina, and to be rock and roll, I'm going to do a little fire opal pink and onyx black. So I always recommend starting with your lighter color and then going to your darker color, especially when you're going to put two colors on the same piece here. All right. And you can see that this is a big bottle of patina for how much you actually need to use on these pieces. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of get my paintbrush in there, and I'm gonna have a paper towel at the ready, kind of gonna hold mine there. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of brush it on top. And what you wanna do is make sure you're getting it in the grooves there, and then really quickly, I'm just gonna wipe it off. So you can really see how fast that's drying. So you just kind of wanna get it in the grooves there, and then wipe it off real quick. Because I want mine to look kind of funky, you know. I don't wanna coat mine too much, but just nice and funky there. And you can kind of dab it to give it that kind of look as well. All right, so that's about half of the blank there. So I'm gonna let that sit for just a minute before I kind of flip it over. It does dry really quickly, and you can see that I've covered up some of the places where I can possibly put that Vintaj relief block over it again. So I'm gonna do that once it's dried in just another minute. All right, I think, see, nice and dry. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over. And you can see that I got a little bit of pink on the outside edge here as I was working, so I'm gonna use that as my guide to kind of follow along the same edge there on the back, and just really wanna get it in those grooves there. And I'm just kind of dabbing my paintbrush in there, so you can kind of see that I just really wanna get those grooves to pop out. All right, rock and roll. I'm such a dork. All right. And I think that might do it for my pink. Yeah, because I really like the way that looks. So let me kind of pick it up here so I can kind of show you both sides. So that's the back side or the front side. And then that's my other side there. And I'm just going to kind of move it away from my pink area there. Rinse my brush real quick. And then we're going to do a version with black. You definitely want to get your paintbrush nice and clean. There we go. All right, I'm going to kind of wipe up my surface a little bit just so I don't get my hands in there. You can use gloves while doing this. It's not toxic, so you're okay just to kind of wash your hands after you're done. It might take a little while. It kind of reacts a little bit like a nail polish. Like if you get nail polish on your skin, it'll kind of be there until you really scrub your hands, but it's non-toxic, so you're okay. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my black and I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna kind of place my paper towel on the pink side there. Just get a little dab of that, and there we go. Really get it into those grooves there, and I'm kind of overlapping that pink because I want it to kind of share some of that space. And just gonna kind of wipe it off. There we go. You can kind of see how just organic this whole process is. You're always gonna have a one-of-a-kind piece, which is kind of my favorite thing about it. All right, just go ahead and flip that over. And we're just gonna repeat on the other side. And just kind of dabbing it into those grooves. And this will look different every time you do it, because if you get a little bit of a different area on your stamping blank or on the die, you'll have a different kind of set of grooves to be kind of working with. All right.
That was the neatest thing for me to realize about all of these products was when I first saw on our website how many products we have and how this is all marketed together. I thought, oh, it's kind of prefab, and then I realized you can totally personalize it, and it is a one-of-a-kind piece every time you do this, and you choose where you want the pieces on your embossing dies, and you get a different effect every time. And also to note that that natural brass that looks real dull, it's that way for a reason.
Yeah, so that you can bring it out.
The relief block.
Yeah. And speaking of that relief block, I'm going to use it now that my patina's dried for a minute or so here, because I lost a little bit, especially on that pink that I kind of want to bring out. So I'm just gonna take and just kind of bring that out. So you can see that you can use the relief block over that patina. And I'm gonna just flip it around so you get that bright brass that shows through again. And this is, again, something that you can build, and it's nice and slow in terms of getting just the right amount that you want. So that's another thing that I love about it. It really is easy, and it's entirely up to you. It always creates something that's very different and unique. So I think that's pretty cool. So I'm very excited about that. And now I'm gonna use the relief block on one of my letters here, just to kind of see, because you can sort of see that that's a K. But what I really want to do is really make you see that that's a K, because I like my name. All right, so let's just, there you go. So you really start to see that etching, so it kind of comes out and pops out at you. So I'm going to do that with my other letters here. And then I'm just going to put together my bracelet with some jump rings, and then that's it. I am all done. Now, if you're curious about how I started the bracelet, you can definitely check out the website, and the full tutorial is there. So if you're wondering, oh, how do I get it started? I want to know how to make the actual bracelet part. It is all there for you guys. I just kind of wanted to spend today just kind of really focusing on the Sizzix and talking about that. So, all right, so here is my bracelet. And I got some jump rings here. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna take one of my jump rings, and I have 2 pairs of chain nose pliers. I'm just gonna really simply open that up. Whoop. All right, I don't like that jump ring. I'm gonna get another one. This is why they come in packs of 50, in case you're ever wondering. It's so that when you don't like that jump ring, you can just put it away. All right. Slip on my charm there, or pendant. I guess it's kind of whatever you want to call it. All right, I'm going to slip it onto this link here. I think that'll look nice. And just kind of get my pliers in there. I like to use jump rings that are nice and tight. You can use larger jump rings. Vintaj actually has some really fun, like twisted jump rings that kind of add a little extra element of fun.
Like textured, you mean?
Yeah, I think I want to say they're called rope jump rings. So, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna move over to this side, and this is where I'm gonna put my little letters here, and making sure they are in order, because that is important. I'm not a tack. All right.
But you do act.
I do act, yes. And these come in packs of 6, these particular little blanks. So if your name is under 6, it's perfect. If it's over, buy an extra one. I was gonna do something fun and say like rock on or something, but I was worried that might be a little too hard to read, but I've definitely seen ones that say love and, you know, just all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm just alternating my links just so that the link that is not attached to that leather is attached to one of the charms here. All right, and my last one, and I am all done.
I was pleased to realize that you had made those letters using an embossing die. I had thought you had used like the individual little hammering letters, and then realized it.
You know, I like the idea of using the Sizzix. I feel that it's a little bit more accurate for my purposes. Doing stamping with the hammer can be a difficult technique. So, I mean, it's by no means impossible, but it is definitely a little bit more of a difficult, specific technique. All right, so there is my bracelet all finished. Cat, rock and roll, hematite, rainbow,
nice.
Pink and black. So it's that easy, and it's so fun, and it's always going to be individualized. So yeah, so before we move on to show you all the other cool things that the Sizzix can do, I do want to reiterate our giveaway, because we probably have some people who are joining us just now. So for the giveaway today, this is a $50 value, and you're going to get one of those Vintaj relief blocks. You're going to get a technique book that has all kinds of different techniques. You can kind of see a little bit on here what you're going to learn. We have some finished chain, and this is that beautiful Vintage Vogue brass. And then you're going to get some earring hooks and some stamping blanks. Beautiful stuff to really start to play with, some jump rings and a nice little pendant, and we'll show you kind of how to use that in a moment. And we're going to give you some jade and ruby patina. So this is our giveaway for today. Like I said, it's a $50 value. All you have to do to win is leave a comment, let us know where you're tuning in from, what you like about your Sizzix, favorite color, favorite animal, I don't know. Just leave a comment and you'll be entered to win, and we will be choosing our winner live at the end of our class today.
So obviously, in order to use some of these components, people are going to need the machine, which is a separate investment.
Yes.
But I covet this thing. I want one for my home. It's really satisfying to be able to come to work and play with it, but I would just love to have one myself. So.
Well, and what's great, and the reason I wanted to include the book in the giveaway here is that there are so many things that you can do without the Sizzix. So if this isn't really your machine, or if you're still hesitant, kind of on the fence, there's still some fun pieces that you can do with the stuff that you'll get in here.
That's true.
Yeah, but that is good. You know, it is. We understand that this is an investment piece, but we're going to show you all the things that you can do with it. So I think you'll be really excited to see that. All right, so let's go ahead, and I want to dive into the other type of sort of die that we have here, and that is going to be the Etch die.
Now, when you're saying die, you're not talking inks, because that's where my mind went first when I was learning the vocabulary of the machine.
Yeah, so. It's DIE, so it's going to be either this, or we have the Etch. So this is the Emboss, so it kind of looks like a little clamshell, and then the Etch is a one-sided die, and it has this little sort of, what is that word?
Well, it's kind of engraved in almost like a suede
like a
or
foam?
fabric.
Yeah, it's almost like a little foam piece here. And you can see that like I did a little bit of a blank here. And the result that you're gonna get from this is gonna be a little bit different. So with the embossing, you're getting on both sides, as we saw with the pieces that we just worked with. But if I can draw your attention down here, what I'm going to show you is the way that the Etch die works. Now, if you can see, this is exactly where I had my piece. Now, this is it blank. This is it once it has gone through this die, and you can see that nice etching on the front. And what you get on the back is you get a little bit of that etching, but it's not as embossed on both sides. So this is more of a one-sided type of piece. But as you can see, on this one, I added a little bit of black patina. Excuse me, I added a little bit of black patina so you can really see that embossing. So you can sort of see how a piece like that develops. And here's another example of using an emboss die. Now, I will say this, one thing that I want to caution you on is not all blanks are created equal. So this particular blank here, this is a 22, I believe, gauge blank. And this does work with the Sizzix, but as you can see, it doesn't work as well because the metal is so thick that it's not really susceptible to the actual punch of the die. So this is the etching on it, and this is the embossing on it, and you can actually see that it kind of gets a little bit muddy in the middle there. Still a very cool effect, but you're not going to get as much of that crunch on it that you would anytime you would use sort of one of the other pieces, one of the other blanks. This is a beautiful example of just a nice big square. This is Alexandra's bracelet. A nice big square of that embossing die. So, but I do want to kind of show you exactly how to do the etching. So I'm going to do an extra little piece here on my blank, and I'll show you exactly how I did that first one because it is a little different. All right, so back to our Sizzix here. What we're going to do is place this onto our plate, kind of position where you want the impression to appear. And now what you're going to do is place your card on top, your second piece of plastic, and just gently press it through. This is where you want to be careful that you're not kind of moving it around. You can see that it sort of catches and moves it a little bit. So then again, just kind of standing up here. There we go. And now just feed it through gently. And you'll hear that nice little snap. There we go. And it's gonna come through here. And you're gonna get a really cool embossing. Or I'm sorry,
Etching.
an etching. An etching. So there you go. So that's kind of the little subtle difference. Now I do want to show you something that happens with these plates. So you can see, hopefully, kind of under my hand there, kind of show you, it does create a little etching on your piece of plastic, and that's why we do sell extra ones of these.
And that's where I was wondering whether paper towel or some layer of paper might help with that. And I'm also actually wanting to point out, because I think people will wonder also what to do about that embedding rectangle shape that is now on the etch die.
On the foam, yes. These definitely wear out a little bit faster than the other dies because of that reason. Now, understand that if you wanted to, let's say for your next piece that was blank, you wanted that right there and you're worried about getting a line right through it. I wouldn't worry too much about that because the pressure that's going to be created actually should not affect that line.
I would think it has a lot more to do with the shape that's already cut into the foam rather than pressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that is sort of what you're working on with, or working with, when you use a piece like this. But there are definitely some really fun and funky ones that we have birds and flowers, and it's a lot of fun to kind of use the pieces and see what you like and what works for whatever piece you're working on. Now I will say this, I do want to show you that because we've been using the Sizzix a lot, we do have some of our plastic pieces that have definitely seen some love.
And this is over the course of years, right?
This is over the course of years. So you can see that we have some of those etchings, and you can see even some of the framelits in there as well that have created markings on this. Now, these plates will work if you're using the emboss dies. What will happen, unfortunately, is on pieces like this, if you start to use the etching dies, you'll actually get this impression on your piece. So you will need to replace.
A little bit with this one, right?
It happened, with this guy here. I'm just going to kind of flip it over. So you can see that there's some extra etching. And let me flip this one over so you can see what happens with the fresh piece. So there's that extra little etching on the back, which for
Pretty
this
subtle.
purposes here, I'm okay with, but just to kind of, as fair warning, you might need to switch out your plates fairly often if you're doing a lot of the etching. So just to keep in mind. All right, so we're gonna move on to another kind of fun thing that you can do with these Sizzix, and that is using the framelits and the cut dies, and we have that over here.
And so these sets are the thinlet sets, and what they come with are shapes that have a sharp, fine edge on one side that will cut out foils and papers, which we have done here. So here's an example of a couple of bags that I decorated using the thinlits, and it's with these adhesive foil sheets. So you can see even the negative space could be a fun use for a project.
And this is definitely where that kind of scrapbooking idea really comes into play. And when you use, when you purchase the framelit here, you'll also notice that you'll get these three sort of plastic, and these look again like those little clamshells. And what you're actually going to be able to do is sort of emboss onto those metal sheets. So you'll get kind of this little fun piece. And I just kind of want to show you how kind of nifty that is. And the backing is that sort of paper. It's an adhesive paper, which is great for paper. If you're using it in jewelry, let's say you wanted to cut something out of there, we definitely recommend using an additional glue just to kind of secure it into place. So
I would also recommend, from experience, I learned that these plastic embossing folders work a lot better with the foils than if you were to put the foil into these. And Kat pointed out that this is a sharper metal cut that what it does is it will sort of embed into the back of the paper and make it harder to peel off. So
yeah, to peel off, especially in one piece, because that, I mean, that's really beautiful, but yeah, you might have some of those little metal shards that could kind of come off in you.
yeah, it's a little,
You definitely don't want that.
more uneven.
But the framelets here, I'm going to kind of show you how those work. And for this, let me remove my discs for a moment. You're going to need an extra piece here, and what this is going to help do is kind of raise up your shim. So you're just going to have your solo shim, and then you're going to add the solo thin die adapter.
And this is just for cutting.
And this is just for cutting. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and use this sheet again, and we're going to put our piece of plastic down, place it on top, and I'm just going to kind of center there. And I'm just going to take one of our little framelets, and this is the side with that sharper edge. It's not sharp, but it is sharper than the other edge. So you're going to go ahead and place that wherever you want it. I think I'll get that kind of little star piece there. Place my piece of plastic on top and guide it through. There we go. And now again, just kind of placing your hand on top just to keep it steady. Just wheel it through. There we go. All right. And we can just sort of take that out. And what you're going to get is, I'm going to try to flip this over, is you'll see that it sort of presses into the back there so that you can sort of just take your piece off and pop it out.
Makes a perfect circle.
And yeah, and the beautiful thing about the framelets, and we have the circle ones here, but we do have the other ones as well that create squares and rectangles, and they are meant to fit with the Vintaj blanks, and I kind of want to show you that right over here. This is one of the Vintaj sort of bezel blanks, so it fits perfectly, and this is actually one of the bezels that's in our giveaway today. And I did want to point out that I actually did another one using just plain paper, so you can do this with photos, which is absolutely great. I don't know if you've ever tried to cut a perfect circle, but it can definitely make your head hurt. So that's what I kind of love about this, is that even if you don't have the bezel, or if you have something that fits the sizes that we use here, you can cut out of paper or photos or anything. And we've done a couple of pieces here where we've just added some patina. So you can use patina, you can really coat them. I love sort of the beautiful bird here that Alexandra did.
Yep.
And you can even use the Vintaj relief block
so
on it.
Play with that on here and see what I get. This is that adhesive foil. It brings back some of the vines and flowers and petals. So that works.
Yeah, it really makes the design pop.
Yeah.
So
Just to reiterate, the way to get that texture onto the foil is the adhesive sheets are sold in packets like this, and to get a full sheet of design, there's an embossing folder that is this size. And so you can fit the whole page in there and run it through.
yeah, so you can get that full
Right, lots of different designs
pattern.
that
Yeah, we have
way.
several different patterns and designs
Yeah.
for that, as well as these small ones, and they work just exactly the same as one of your small pieces would work. And it's the same Sizzix on top, the back of the clamshell going through the Sizzix, and nice and easy. So it works just the same way. So that's another thing that I love about the Sizzix, is that you can put a lot of things through it, but it all works pretty much the same way. So
Now,
that's what's nice.
Putting stamping blanks in here, though.
Yeah, this is plastic.
use the
It won't
plastic
alter
for
the metal.
Right.
It just,
You need metal
it
on
just
metal
won't
for
get
that.
there.
And you already said about the leather. We tried leather through it, and it did not.
We tried the faux leather. We have not tried leather, but I am excited to try that, because I think that's actually a really kind of cool technique, because I wonder if you can actually take a strip of leather and kind of emboss the whole thing, or etch it, whatever would kind of work on it, and just create just a cool kind of bracelet. Like that excites me. So that's the kind of thing that I would do with it. But it would also be nice. And I don't know if the framelits would be thick enough to cut that, but you could sort of, in theory, do an embossing on a leather piece. But with this one, like the pieces are plastic, so I don't think that would work on the leather. I don't think it's going to be really strong enough to leave an impression, but we are definitely going to find out. All right, so we just have a couple other things to just go over. We just have some earring projects here that we just kind of want to show you, and just sort of, you can get a general variety of what you've done with the, what we've done with the Sizzix and what you could do. And these are all projects that are at beadaholique.com. So if we have any more questions, go ahead and shout them out. We know this is kind of a specialized thing, but like I said, it's definitely worth the money. There's a lot of things you can do with it. Even just, we are looking at some of these dies and stuff, and one of the beautiful things is I think that you can put this on a gift box, it's just so neat. I like it. I like it so much.
And I was excited to discover the buttons. I thought it was really neat to match up some embossing on the clasping of a piece too. So I played with that. Here's what the button looks like before and after, and that's just using the relief block. So that was a discovery for me. In my reach.
Yeah, and I want to draw your attention over here. Again, this is just a small selection of the patinas that we have. So we have so many fun colors, and like I said, you can mix and match and really just create super, super unique stuff. And
you could see how little we used just for one piece, and so they last a very long time.
Yeah. Oh, there is one other kind of trick I want to show you guys, and this is something that you can do for this bracelet that I created. And this is a piece of vintage chain. And what you can do is actually take your relief block and kind of shine up those edges. So what you can kind of do is create little shiny kind of facets on your chain to really brighten it up. So if you're like, oh, vintage stuff is too dark for me, I don't know if I'd wear that. Just by using that vintage relief block, you're getting, and I'm just kind of scraping it along there. And I'm just going to kind of buff it with the bottom side here.
And you said that you had done patina on chain even, right?
We have some really beautiful big link chain from Vintage, and what's beautiful about that is that you can add the patina and you can really just see it, and it's really kind of fun. But since we have just another minute, let me kind of show you how that works. So I'm going to take some verdigris here, shaking up my patina. All right, let's see here. Because why not? All right, I'm just going to kind of place it onto my paper towel there. I'm just going to kind of just paint it on just like one side of a couple of links there. I'm just going to take my so you can kind of get a cool, especially with the verdigris here, you can get like a cool, yeah, it almost looks like it's, been underwater or something for a while. And this is just kind of just dabbing it so it looks kind of organic, Now
it'd sync with the wear and tear that chain gets against skin. It'd be a good idea after you do that to put that glaze on there.
Yep, that would definitely be really helpful.
That shines it up as well.
Yeah, so if you just want to add just a little tiny bit of color to your chain, and you can see those nice big kind of places where I got that vintage relief block, and you can also go over it again if you've added too much patina or not to your desired look. But yeah,
a neat way to accent a pendant.
Absolutely, and you can do it in just a section of it. So let's say you had a pendant that had the verdigris in it. Let's say I wanted to kind of add that there, but I just wanted that little shimmer of verdigris, and then you don't need to do it on the rest of it. So I don't know, there's so much you can do, and it's really exciting as a designer to kind of get something and explore and play and just have fun. And if it doesn't work, you just wipe it off really quick.
When I think metalworking, altering metal, for some reason it's always like that's something that someone else does who is a little more experienced. Right. But then when you're given the tools like this, it's phenomenal what you can come up with. I am very excited about it too.
Yeah, there's just so much to explore, and it's I want to impress that it's not hard. It's very, very easy. Once you have the machine, you get yourself some blanks, you run it through, you kind of figure out the style that you like, and you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just really fun.
Yep.
I'm such a Sizzix nut, so this is definitely going to be fun. And if you guys have ideas or more questions, please leave them in the comments below, because that'll help us create more content and more videos for you that you guys want to see. So we will definitely be working on the leather, but if there's something else that you guys want to kind of explore with the Sizzix BIGkick, or have more questions even after the fact, let's say you're watching this hours later, you couldn't join us live, please still leave your questions below and we'll be answering them, especially over the weekend. All right, so do we have a giveaway winner? All right, Sherry Fazel. I hope I'm saying that right. Congratulations. What you're gonna do is send us a message on Facebook, a private message, letting us know where we can send your giveaway. So congratulations to our winner, Sherry. And thanks everybody for joining us. We are going to be back in May, and we are going to be doing a class all about wedding jewelry and making jewelry for your bridesmaid, mother of the bride, mother of the groom. We have cufflinks, and we're going to talk all about that fun stuff. So please join us in May, and be sure to check out the designer blog, and you can find that by going to beadaholique.com, designers blog, and we will post all the information there. And of course, follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We are all over the place, and we are here to inspire and help you with your designs. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kat.
I'm Alexandra.
And we will see you in May for all about wedding jewelry. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.